All right, welcome back to Card Talk. I'm Ryan, joined as always with my wonderful co-hosts Tyler and Lou. Big episode today as the NFL is getting ready to start. We've got a full weekend of games. You've got what I believe is Thursday night games, Sunday games, Sunday night games, Monday night games. So a lot going on this first weekend. So lots more to talk about in this show as well in terms of the overall market, some decreases in some things, some increases in some things. We want to get into that and then get into our Stump the Shop segment here in a little bit. But want to start off with the NFL being back. Figure it's worth noting, as it got brought up earlier, I am rocking the Patriots, the Patriots pullover here. And I know my two Jets fans cannot appreciate this, but 17 out of the last 19 AFC East titles, I just think it's worth mentioning. I know there's a lot of optimism around other teams in the AFC East, but until someone takes it, I'm going to say Patriots for the AFC title this year.
Like AFC Championship, like they're going to win the AFC Championship?
No, the AFC East.
Got it.
Not the AFC at all. I'm taking the Chiefs on that.
Got it. And who's going to be your starting quarterback?
Cam Newton.
And how do you feel about him playing the entire year healthy?
Not the best.
Got it. Who's going to be your quarterback when he goes down?
Jarrett Stidham.
Got it. How do you feel about winning the division with Jarrett Stidham after having Tom Brady for the last 15
Cam Newton's
years?
going to give us enough games. I mean, like in the AFC East, the last couple of years, I mean, what do you got to win? 8 games? 9 games? I mean, we won the season. We won the AFC East by Thanksgiving.
I'm just saying, y'all went from having 4 weeks of preseason, finding a bunch of gems,
That's
having
true.
Tom Brady at your quarterback, to now having no preseason, no finding gems, and Jarrett Stidham probably leading you guys down.
Certainly less optimistic.
Yeah, just kind of. I just wanted to lay it out there.
It's kind of weird to like try to like dunk on the AFC East. It's like the weirdest flex I've ever seen in my entire life.
No, I do think that the both for the card market, but also there were teams that excelled in understanding how to use those 4 weeks of preseason and find players and understand how to navigate the cap space and find gems, and Hogan, Wes Welker, all those just over and over and over again. And I think we're going to see that early on. Maybe, I don't know if teams are going to kind of use those first 4 weeks or 5 weeks or just gradually kind of build. But it's going to be wild that Thursday night is the first full game of football, and it's week 1. Like, it matters.
And I think, Tyler, you bring up a really interesting point there. That's not where this was necessarily going to go, but like no preseason, right? Just think of the guys in the past, like you said, not only just the Patriots, but the other guys that have gotten an opportunity in preseason that have made something for themselves in preseason, right? Like those opportunities are going to dwindle. Like it's just going to be week 1. So, I mean, Burrow's obviously starting week 1. I thought that was kind of a surprise, but I know Tua's not, Herbert's not. Like, the rookies aren't going to get as many opportunities. There's no preseason games for them to shine or really do anything. So
definitely, and there's going to be 2-3 guys that have like career weeks, week 1 or 2, and then like by week 6, like are fighting for a spot.
Yeah, you become irrelevant.
Yeah.
The quarantine QB thing is like wildly interesting to me. Like Josh McCown got signed by the Eagles to literally just sit on his couch and
live in Texas for $12,000 a week.
Crazy.
Really?
Yeah, he got signed $12,000 a week to be their emergency quarterback, and he doesn't have to go to Philly. He just sits in Texas.
They're using a practice squad spot on him.
That's a vibe. It's like a veteran. It's like a veteran consultant contract.
It's the all-time move. I would love to be a quarantine quarterback right now.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
So I do want to get into this because we're going to talk about this later with some things going up and down in the market. That's kind of our next discussion. But Lou, you mentioned a little bit off air about non-quarterback stuff, the other skill positions, really, their stuff really taking off here as we got closer to the season. What's current take on some of that stuff?
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about it because, as cards have become more popular in the last few months, one of the main things I've seen has been a lot of fantasy players, right? Daily fantasy, season-long fantasy players. And every time I talk to someone, they're like, wait, you're telling me that Michael Thomas is like a third of what, Sam Darnold is? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, that doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. So, I mean, I remember for context on prices, like, general knowledge. Like I was looking at Michael Thomas PSA 10s for $75 like 8 weeks ago, and I passed obviously because I'm dumb and that's what I do. And now they're at least double that now. So I think
The
you're going to
last one
see.
was $801.
Excuse me.
$801 for Michael
silver?
Thomas. Silver.
Silver?
Well, that whole year is a silver, but yeah, silver 2016.
Okay, cool. So then they 10x'd what I was looking
Yeah,
at.
they're 800. The last sale I think was $801.
Okay, cool. So that's sad for me. I'm sad about that. But like, I think it's something we're gonna keep seeing. I think we're gonna see, McCole Hardman from the Chiefs go off one day, and his NTs are gonna start going for, five figures. I would say. Like, I think that's like a pretty realistic thing that's gonna start happening here, and people should be prepared for that.
And I've seen, like, again, going off the Mecole thing, there's been a lot of hype around like Marquise Hollywood Brown, like being with Lamar Jackson, some of the weapons for some of the younger top quarterbacks in the league. But I think this is also a good point to mention. Like, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Like, this is very important to do your research, because as we will talk about in the next segment, right? Like, everybody right now sells. There's hype on everybody. Mecole Hardman, Marquise Brown, like, everybody has hype, but not everybody's going to produce. Like Tyler said, somebody's going to have a major week one and everybody's going to flock to them. Like I talked about this in shop recently. Like, I have a Drew Lock gold vinyl from Optic. Could you imagine what would happen if Drew Lock came out and threw 5 touchdown passes week one, Monday night, home against Tennessee, those 5 touchdown passes? But in the same breath, what if he goes Nathan Peterman and throws 5 interceptions and a half? Like, so much is going to happen week one when a guy goes, off, or a guy does, terrible. Like, prices are going to drastically change. And I think it's just very important to just know what you're buying and, really do your research, because a lot's going to happen the first couple weeks of the season.
Yeah, I think there's a way bigger knowledge gap when it comes to the NFL as opposed to basketball or football. And I think you're going to have to there's going to be a lot more misses. It's hard to swing and miss in basketball right now. I think there's going to be a lot of swing and misses in football this year, which is just part of the game.
Yeah, well, exactly. There's a lot more volatility. There's one game a week. There's a lot more game planning. There's weapons. And going into this year, where there's, again, you usually have 4 weeks of like understanding, 4 weeks of chatter, even in fantasy. Like, if you're playing season-long fantasy, those nuggets of this dude's been dominating, this dude, but it's been virtually non-existent. And so I think you'll definitely see that. And to your point, the knowledge gap, the week leading up, and understanding who is going to be exploited and how, and those players that are going to come about, combine that with some of the new energy in terms of the faster flipping. Ryan, I don't know if you feel that is the case, but I feel like people are entering and exiting into stocks, into a player or a card at a much faster pace than than maybe 5 years ago, for a lot of different reasons. New
values go up so much.
Values go up.
It used to be like you waited 6 months or a year for a card to go from 100.
You buy a rookie and like not even think about it till their third year.
Yep, you just sat it in a box and it just sat there all season until week 14, when the veteran gets hurt and then they go off, and then you sell it. At this point, you buy a Michael Thomas 8 weeks ago for $75, and before the start of the season, it's $800. Mm-hmm. These are year-long or 2-year-long increases you're hoping to obtain that you're getting in a fraction of the time. So values are just changing so drastically. Cards are really, really volatile right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting. I know Lou mentioned it offline, but like we talked about Deshaun Watson, right? Deshaun Watson plays Mahomes week one. Lou said a Prism PSA 10 Silvers auto is $2,500.
PSA
like,
10.
What happens if Mahomes comes out and they beat the snot out of the Texans, 42-17, and Watson doesn't look very good?
Then the price dips and you buy heavy. Those week one blowouts are always...
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot more courage of your convictions. Like, do you believe in Deshaun Watson? Dope. When they get the brakes beat off them, you better be comfortable buying some more, or 100%. Being okay with chilling.
Yep. And we mentioned that with the Zion conversation a couple weeks ago with Mike. you bought in at 700 for 10s. They're quickly to 550. They're at 500 now. Can you stomach that loss when they're not going to hit 800 right away? Or are you in it for the long haul where they potentially could be, $1,000 the day before the season when the Pelicans post a picture of Zion looking like the Hulk and everybody on Twitter goes crazy and everyone's like, this kid's going to be LeBron. Bye. Can you wait that long? Or is that something you don't see as realistic? So yeah, it's very interesting with the way the market is right now.
How let's do this. Non-QB MVP in your opinion. Like one guy that you're like, we're paying attention to him. Non-QB.
On the radar, like everybody knows anyone, or just like someone off the radar?
And it could be anyone.
McCaffrey seems like the easiest answer.
Yeah, it's probably McCaffrey or I like Kamara a lot.
My only concern with Kamara is there was trade talks, like he wasn't going to play for the money. I mean, what happens if they trade Kamara to Jacksonville? I mean, he's not doing anything in Jacksonville.
But he also reported to camp and was like, yo, I don't hold out.
Yeah,
I agree. I think Kamara is a serious player. And then I know there's a lot of issues for Big Blue in New York, but I feel like Saquon has kind of taken a dip in awareness or chatter just from coming into the league. But the guy's an absolute human highlight. And I think he gets people going more than most in terms of just highlight runs here and there. I could see a little bit of an explosion for him. Also, I'm a Penn State guy, so of course I'm going to go there.
Yeah, it will. I think Tyler, you mentioned the running backs, and Lou mentioned non-skill positions. The big thing for me, though, still has to be every quarterback sale price right now. Dak Prescott, Lou, what'd you mention earlier? PSA 10, what was it for $4 grand?
It was an auto. It was an auto for $4
silver.
grand. Yeah,
like a Dak Prescott PSA 10 silver prism rookie auto. Like Watson, Mahomes, Lamar, like only one guy can win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
These prices are just like, it'll be interesting to see what happens, right? I mean, someone's going to win an MVP. Like I think it's so much of FOMO based. I'm very curious to see what happens in the market this year because there's a lot of hype on every single quarterback.
I think one guy can win. Only one guy can win the Super Bowl. Only one guy can win MVP. But there's also like the Cardinals are going to be pretty interesting to watch this year, right? Like they just signed DeAndre Hopkins to a big extension. They have Kyler. They have a cool coach. Like they could pop off. They could look pretty good. They might not win the Super Bowl, but if they could.
But they also play in the same division with the Niners, who have one of the best defenses in football, and Russell Wilson.
I feel you. What if they win the division? Then that's a pretty big deal, right? They can get bounced in the first round, but if they win the division, that's going to be a lot of hype all year long.
Yeah, the way I look at it is if they win the division, that means Russell Wilson didn't win the division. So Russell Wilson's cards are through the roof. He can't be that high. So it's just like everybody is so high. Not everybody's going to win the division, right? Like Russell Wilson or Kyler Murray won't win the division. It's like Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow or Baker Mayfield. Only one of those guys is going to win the division, but every one of their cards sell so well. It's just like there's a lot of risk in this. This is where it's like you said, Tyler, about like or Lou said, can you stomach when Deshaun Watson gets the break speed off of him? Can you stomach that card going down 15% in a week?
Chris Godwin.
That's such a you just named two Penn State guys. It's like painful how obvious that was. It hurts how obvious that was. I actually like Godwin too, by the way.
See, thank you. That's all. I just wanted to bring it up.
But what you did was just.
So we've mentioned it a little bit in terms of football, but I want to kind of get into the bigger pictures. There's been a lot of chatter on social media about it, but really the volatility of the market right now. We've mentioned this before last week, and it just seems to be so relevant. It's worth bringing up in a bigger picture here, but. Basketball cards, soccer cards, right? Some of those seem to be dipping. Lou mentioned Mike Trout stuff seems to be not as high as you might expect it to be. But in the same breath, you've got Logan Paul talking about Pokemon cards. You've got the vintage market as safe as ever. Like it seems like there's a lot of volatility in a lot of different pieces of the market. And I just want to kind of get some of your guys' current takes and what you're seeing.
I feel like to me, this just is a result of the same way you see wild volatility going up, you're going to see wild volatility going down too. It's just a product of how things work all the time. So like, yeah, if LeBron's going for 11K now. That's a tough break for the people who bought it at 15. But if you're buying a card for 15K, I hope that you have the stomach to be like, all right, cool. I'm not just gonna panic sell this card at 11 because I know when you're buying a LeBron card, you're buying a LeBron card for a very specific reason. You're not buying a LeBron card to sell it in 6 weeks or whatever. Like I just think there's a lot more to it when it comes to the volatility. It's not just a matter of, oh no, like everyone's selling, like time to go. Like that's not what's happening here to me. I think it's more a consolidation of people being like, whoa, there was a lot going on here. Everything's going to settle down now a little bit. A lot of extenuating circumstances in the world, stock market, election, et cetera, et cetera. So I think everyone's just kind of settling down a little bit, seeing what's going on, like playing the field, seeing what's happening, and then we'll go from there. To me, it's more of the same, right? Because like this is what happened a year ago too. Like prices go down and then they go back up again. Like I think that's just how the market goes. Chris from House of Jordans posted a really interesting Instagram. I posted it on my Instagram. I'll try to post it again when this episode goes up. But basically just showing like Giannis has been an example of a guy who's gone down
100%.
a lot recently. And people are panicking because that's what people do and that's understandable. But he like pretty much posted a screenshot from Card Ladder of how the card has gone up, and it's done the exact same thing every year for the last couple of years. And I think this is just to be expected to me. So I wasn't that worried about it, but love to hear from you guys as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, to the multiple factors, a lot of different things going on here. We sit recording this on the first kind of unofficial day of fall. But there's been such an increase in demand over the last, call it 2 years, and then really the last 3 months, incredibly white hot, that really, I think, drove the entire thing up. We're now starting to see a turnover in terms of attention in the world, sports, basketball, right? Now you got 2 games a night, playoffs. Very soon you're going to just have a game a night, focus on the finals. You know, I got a text today about Donovan Mitchell, like someone's listing a Donovan Mitchell. Like, yeah, no one cares about Donovan Mitchell as much anymore right now. And if you're in the market for buying a Donovan Mitchell, like the next time he's playing is 5.5 months from now. Like, I don't believe that there's this massive movement of like trying to like project what Donovan Mitchell's going to do. Donovan Mitchell's got almost a year, probably less, I guess, until he plays a playoff game that matters. And when you start talking about Luka or all these other guys, you know, $2,000 for a share of Donovan Mitchell is a lot of cash. And I think that kind of has been lost a bit. And what will happen, I believe, is that if you're willing to continue to put in the work, you're going to have more opportunity than ever. There's a huge increase in demand. Less work went into it. People were just buying off of everything's going up right now. Everything's going up right now. And to your point about the cyclical stuff, it's going to happen. You know, the National is going to be hopefully next summer. There's that card show in Dallas. So there, I think, will be some increased action there. Logan Paul was a good little barometer on the meter. One or two more are going to pop. Players holding their cards. So I think the floor on the downside is so much higher than the previous floor. Like, I don't know what the previous Giannis floor was, but the previous Luka floor was not $1,300. It was like $4. And so even that, if you're in that market, and that's being generous, even if you're in that market, those are good signals. And sell-off is healthy, I believe. You don't just want a continuous pump. So again, yeah, the basis of the show has tried to be about education and understanding and the reps. And if you just win all day, and also looking at relative money, just like staring at the screen and being like, I'm this rich. I see Jim Cramer on Twitter. He's been for the last week. Like, if you've been making hundreds of thousands of dollars in the stock market on this run, don't be a hero and try to make 125. Like, take some of your profits. Just you can win on a small scale. And so I think that's the point. So there's a lot of people that are sitting on Luka's, bought at 700, furious right now that they didn't sell at the top. And it's like, you just doubled your money. Like,
I bought in LeBron like probably at top market. Like when LeBron stuff got top, that was probably when I bought in on like BGS 9.5, True Gem Plus, Topps rookie, like MVP PSA 10, Bowman BGS 9, MVP 9. Like I bought those at top market. They're way down from when I bought them. But you don't buy LeBron to, like Lou said, you don't buy LeBron to sell LeBron tomorrow. So those are long-term holds. I just think
you're chilling if you bought a LeBron. I truly believe you're chilling if you bought a LeBron Topps Chrome PS 9.5 for like $13K. I think you're chilling, like you're feeling great about yourself. It's down right now, but you're fine.
Yeah, I mean, you might not be in the the best mood if it's down a little bit,
but you're really fine.
Yeah, if you're spending that kind of money, you have a pretty good outlook on that card long term. Again, I would just Ty, you mentioned Jim Cramer, right? Like Luka PSA 10s went from $2,000 or $2,100 to $1,400 in a week, and I just think, what would Jim Cramer say if Luka, if a stock price dropped 30% in 1 week? There would be real panic. And I just, that's a little alarming to me, is that card prices are fluctuating at that kind of an extreme in such a short amount of time. Like $700
but it's also,
in
but
1
it's also
week.
not fair to only judge the downside. Like, meaning, what about the run up? Like, everyone's thrilled about that. And I think that that's the case. If you have X amount of Lucas at 200, like, why are you seeing a down tip? Because those people are selling and they're taking, cool, I'll take 15, I'll take 14. The buyers are there.
I think not everybody bought in at 7. I think this goes back to doing your research, because somebody bought 8 of them at $1,800 a piece when they were $2,100.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy's taking a $3,200 loss, best case scenario, right now if he sold them. And $3,200 is a lot of money. So what I'm trying to get is like, hey, like this, it really requires research if you're getting in. Like Lou talked about it earlier, the demand, or Ty, might have been you, but like the demand got so big when COVID happened. We just had all this influx of people getting into cards. And I think a lot of people were just throwing darts on a wall, just like, hey, I'll buy this, I'll buy this, I'll buy this. You know, Michael Thomas, man, I'll buy this, I'll buy this. But that might not be the case, right? And I think what's happening is some of the people that might have gotten in early are really learning about the market, and like, this has been happening for 6 months, right? That market's been hot for 6 months. I think you can learn a lot in that 6-month time period. And I think that's what's happened here, is people are really learning what they want, what they like, what they should be buying, what they shouldn't be buying. I think what happened is the consumer got knowledgeable.
And well, the thing is like the same person that bought Luka at 21 bought it off of, he hit a game-winning shot against arguably the best team, the favorite to win the championship, to tie a series when his number 2 was officially named out for the series, and he was on a bad foot, acting like he was going to go through and win the championship. Like, LeBron won his first ring in 2012. He was 27, I think. Like, it's there's to the point of, I want to, like, people need to be patient. Things take time, and the volatility also was on the upside equally as on the downside. And to have less of that volatility, I think is good for everyone. And I think that's what you're going to start seeing. These new floors are night and day from where they were 2 years
100%.
ago. And like,
100%.
let's just play some cycles out.
Yep, market's still hot compared to where it was. That's a great point, Ty.
Yeah, like, everyone learning a lesson is a very good thing. Like, I truly believe this is all a good thing. I understand that people are down and that sucks, but like, it's a good lesson that everyone should learn, is like, cards, nothing goes up forever and ever. That's not how it works.
Yep.
Yeah, I just think the message I think I'm trying to portray here is, let's not get caught up in the moment per se. Luka has that kind of game. That doesn't mean like that's the best time to buy a Luka. If you love Luka, wait till the Clippers sweep them, or Clippers beat them, and then buy it. I think there's better opportunities to buy someone you have interest in than their best game ever.
Have a strategy. Be willing to be patient. Don't try and become a millionaire overnight.
All great A+ tips, 100%. You do those 2 things, you'll be sitting a lot prettier.
Yeah, through everything, through a market upside, through a market downside, through a massive game, through ACL tear, what have you.
And it's like the same thing though with Giannis, right? Like they go down 3-0 and people are like, dude, sell Giannis. Sell Giannis. This guy's terrible. He's awful. Sell Giannis. And you're like,
and the only game they won, he was ruled out for more than half of it.
Yeah,
it's literally like watching First Take happen every single day. People talking about athletes. It's literally, that's what it is. People are like watching First Take and they're like, oh yeah, Giannis is bad. Like sell Giannis. It's like, what were you saying? Like, what were you saying 2 weeks ago about Giannis? You were like all over Giannis. You want to know why? Because Giannis is really good. Like, let's not overreact to the moment of they're getting beat by a team that's better coached than them.
Panic selling is how people that are heavily invested in the market and can afford those things do really well. Because when people panic sell, they buy them and then they sit on them until Giannis wins a title or Giannis gets popular again or wins another MVP. Those people that can afford to do that, they cash in on those moments when people are panic selling.
Yep. And then on the other side of that coin, like we were saying before, there's a lot of people who bought Giannis's for $800 who are over the moon to sell them for $35 because they don't feel like sitting on them for 6 months after he gets eliminated tomorrow.
And then the guy that has more cash flow and is richer is going to buy it at $3,500 and they're going to go to $7,000 and he's going to feel even better. It works both ways.
Yep.
All right. So now let's get into Stump the Shop. Stump the Shop, which is brought to you by eBay, your number one stop for buying and selling trading cards and memorabilia. So Stump the Shop, for those who aren't familiar, if you're new here, this is a segment we do where Ty and Lou get $1,000. I have $1,000, and we try to buy and resell using eBay's platform. So we're going to have an update here relatively soon where we can go through and give you guys an idea of where we each are at in terms of what we've bought, what we've sold, just to give you guys an idea of like breakdown so you guys can really see what we're doing. Obviously, I bought some lots, right? You know, Lou gives me shit for it all the time about buying Garrett Cole. Did make over $100 on that lot, so shout out to Garrett Cole. But I'm doing a little bit more. I'm doing a little bit more of the lots, the underpriced assets. Lou and Ty are going. They've gone with more of a finding particular players or cards. They've done some Pokemon. They've done really well on. So taking two different approaches here, but again, just want to give you guys an inside look into how we're doing. So that will be coming in a future episode. So stay tuned for that. But Lou, Ty, any updates on your end in terms of Stump the Shop?
I just thought about putting up my Tyler Boyd autograph card in the event that, let me tell you why. Let me explain why. The entire, I don't know why I didn't think about this till just now. The entire strategy is Tyler Boyd has a big game and you sell the card. The NFL starts on Sunday. I feel like just having it there for someone who wants to offer me on it. Obviously, I'm going to list it for. I'll probably list it. Actually, I'm not going to say. I'm going to list it, and then I'll take offers on it. Mm-hmm. But Tyler, I feel like if I miss the opportunity of the week one pop off, that's like the exact thing I was shooting for. So it would be a big mistake.
Mm-hmm. I'm sitting on a ton of Darnold. I'm going to do the same. At least have inventory up. I think for any listener in general, that muscle. You know, Ryan, you said it a million times. Every day you list 55 new auctions and 55 close, right? Is it you something like that?
We've slowed a little bit down on that as one of our listeners. But yeah, that's kind of the thing is attention every day.
Right. And so if you're in this game, it's like you can stay in the selling business, stay in the buying business, stay in the selling business. This is a 24/7, just like if you're day trading in the market. Like if you take 3 days off, amazing. Not saying you can't take 3 days off from anything. Everyone needs it, myself included. But it's going to take work to get back into the swing and flow and understanding what's going on. I think it's always good to have some inventory available for sale.
And I think Lou's point is spot on, right? Like there's going to be guys that blow up week one, right? If people are there are going to be people, regardless of how much we say don't cash in the moment, there are going to be people that see Tyler Boyd and they're like, hey, Jerry Rice Jr. right here, baby. I'm going to go buy some Tyler Boyd autos, and Lou's going to cash in on that opportunity.
I've always been calling him
that. People are going to think that. Maybe not Jerry Rice, but
Jerry Rice Jr. Our Stump the Shop purchase. It feels pretty good.
but yeah, like Tyler said with Sam Darnold, like having cards listed for sale, if that guy does anything or people are buying into the hype, you're going to be able to sell those things during that game. when the NFL starts and Sunday's got a full day of games, a lot of football stuff is going to sell.
Mhm.
Somebody's going to have a touchdown and their cards are going to sell. One touchdown, one catch. Someone's going to take a kick return back. Their cards are going to sell. If you have them available for sale, you'll do well on Sunday because Sunday is going to be the first full day of football back. So I think that's key, and I think that's a great point is having cards listed when the moment presents itself is a big deal. I'm not saying if you like Sam Darnold, go list every single Sam Darnold you have, because if Sam Darnold throws 6 touchdowns like Mahomes did in his opening day, they're going to jump, and you at least might want some long-term, but can't hurt to have some of them listed in case an opportunity presents itself.
Agreed. Gents, Stump the Shop. Lou, I believe we've made a play or two. Would you like to disclose?
I would like Ryan to go first.
Interesting. Gentleman. He's a true gentleman. Ryan?
Yeah, I'm a man of the people.
So the last the last purchase, I think, I'm not sure if we got into it much, but the Hunter Renfro, I purchased. It was a crap title. Got it for heck of a deal. Not sure I'm super optimistic about the Raiders, but got a 101 gold vinyl that was misspelled. Again, I think we've kind of talked about this, but people always ask like, hey, what are you searching to find these type of deals? As I'm finding things that are mislabeled, no keywords and titles, like different things like that, right? I'm looking for, tips and tricks. So again, it was a Friday night, searching auctions only, ending soonest, football cards, prices above $20 or more. So you're searching for auctions about 9 p.m. That are $20. You're not looking for dollar cards. So different things like that. And then basically just scroll through the list and see if you see anything. There's a Hunter Renfro that was misspelled. Paid, I want to say like $42 for it. I expect it to sell somewhere in the 130, 145, 150 range. So $100 on it, but again, just trying to show that there are deals out there that, there are missed opportunities that you can take advantage of. I did buy some Tyler Heroes. Those are getting ready to be listed. So hopefully next episode, I'll be able to talk about those and what they are and, how much money I was able to make off that. So that's the next in terms of my strategy is to list my Tyler Heroes, but eager to see what you guys came up with as well.
I know that.
Hang on, I'm confused.
Yeah.
We just did a whole thing about Tyler Hero, and then he's not telling us how much you paid for them.
No, there's just no point in talking about them all right now. That's the next episode. We gotta have some cliffhangers.
No, we don't. This
Absolutely.
is
Absolutely. You gotta have people excited for the next one. It'll be great.
Let's be better, gentlemen, and tell what we're up to.
I just hope we didn't buy the same ones.
Oh man, I was in the middle of listing, but I'm just gonna close it because now I'm so annoyed with what Ryan just did. Okay, so what I did was I made a couple little low-key. I'm not going to do the Tyler Hero one. I did some Pokemon. Let me tell you what I did.
I'm missing the boat there.
Let me tell you what I did. I bought 3 lots of the top set, the Topps TV set.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple Charizard. It was 3 different auctions. There's a couple Charizards. There's some hollow foils in there, and there's some base ones. I'm obsessed with this Topps TV set. I think a lot of people bought the Topps TV set back in the day because they couldn't, they were going to the store and the other stuff was sold out, so they were just buying the Topps TV set. You don't have one
with you, do you?
I do have. I don't. Let me see if you could see this. Hang on.
I'm gonna do a little screen share here.
Yeah. Can you see that? Yeah, exactly. Honestly, go to sold. I'm the last few sold. So.
Haha.
Low key. Yeah. Scroll down a little bit. Which one am I? I'm not any of those.
So this is a good.
So yeah, so just open it up so people can see.
Oh, that's a TV set.
Yeah, so this was called the Topps TV set. Topps put this out when the TV show was coming out, back in the day.
What that was.
Yeah, so there's some hollows in here. That Charizard is one that I got. I got a Charmander and a Charmeleon as well. So I bought a bunch of lots. I want to say I bought.
Going after singles or going after the set?
I'm going after the set.
Okay, are you building the set on your own with intention to resell, or are you buying?
I'm buying a bunch of these cards here. I'm going to get them graded 20 days because I paid so little for them, and we're going to flip them before the end of the show. That's my plan right now.
Yep.
In total, I paid $30, $40, $57 for about 50 cards. So
How many are you going to 20 day?
I'm gonna 20-day the hollow foil. I want to look at them. I'm gonna look at them. I'm gonna 20-day all the hollow foils and see what we get. So I will have more updates for
this
everyone.
is a rendition of like how it's pretty much cuts from the show. All these graphics are them from the actual original show.
How many cards
the
in
top
the
TV
set?
is dope. I want to say it's like 50 cards or something like that.
Yeah, interesting.
1999 Pokemon.
Yeah, you got 76 base. It looks like.
Oh, so then it was way more than that. I was bugging.
Yeah, complete set, 90 cards.
90 cards. Yeah, so it's 90.
Interesting.
So you think Topps TV set, as people are getting priced out of first edition, there's been a major run up there, then Shadowless as well, and is an alternative.
I need one of those cards.
Look, which one?
That is the card. Lou and I have talked about it every single time before the show started for months, and I've not bought one, and I want one.
Which one?
The first edition Shadowless 9 Charizard.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have bought one a couple months ago for 17. And they're
way less. A couple months ago, you could have probably paid like 10 or 12.
Well, I'm saying like what, a month ago?
A month ago was probably like 16. Yeah.
Yeah, 16, 17 grand. Now they're what, 22, 24?
22, 23.
Gosh, man. It's in the boat.
Yep. And they don't have an off season. They don't have a bad foot.
They don't have ACLs. They're not making.
There's no scouting report dialing in on them.
Making the media for all the wrong reasons.
Way more people like Charmander than like Luca.
No, they don't got a Dewey coming. They're not doing the Mason Greenwood and inviting someone back
to the hotel room.
They make an international debut.
Did you not see that? They got kicked off the England squad or like sent home for bringing chicks to the hotel.
Bro, Mason Greenwood.
Like, yes, he did.
The future of England soccer makes his international debut, first time ever,
sent home,
and that night brings girls back to the hotel and gets caught and gets sent home.
I mean, you hate.
How does he not realize? How does he not know people are paying for his contenders? You can't do that.
Yeah,
people are paying that much for contenders.
We're trying to figure out what the true rookie card is. We don't.
I know this is completely off topic, but before we get out of Stump the Shop, I should have been buying that Fati kid for Barca. That kid is a stud.
Yeah, everyone should have. Yeah, he just made his debut, youngest scorer ever for the Spain team.
Especially with all the turmoil around Messi and that not being there. This kid being the youngest ever start, youngest ever score. I mean, that kid is a stud.
Yep.
So, and he would never bring someone back to the hotel.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Wouldn't do it. Not him.
It's not in his nature.
Yeah, it's an English bloke play. Greenwood. I mean, yeah, it's tough. I feel bad for him. Like, he's definitely feeling awful about it, but I also don't feel bad for him.
I feel bad for him.
All right, so in a couple of weeks, we will give you guys hopefully an update on what we've spent, what we've sold, kind of give you guys a better breakdown of costs, stuff like that, and see how we're doing as we're getting closer to the halfway point for the Stump the Shop segment. So keep an eye out on that. That episode will be coming soon. But
what do you think happens if we double up Ryan? Like, do we get a more
totally possible?
Yeah, there's a kicker.
Totally possible.
Kicker. I think he has to give us his best card that he ever bought.
Yep.
That's definitely realistic. That's realistic for sure.
Seems fair to me. I don't know.
All right, gang. Everyone, appreciate y'all tuning in.
We're not done. Wait. Whoa.
Tyler.
Rookie move.
Tuning in to Stump the Shop.
Classic post-vacation Tyler move right there.
All right, so before we move on, Stump the Shop is brought to you by eBay, your number one stop for buying and selling trading cards and memorabilia. But Tyler, before we close the episode, we have latest launch. We do this every week. There is one that stands out a lot more than the others, and it is we're going to get into this real deep here. Mosaic Football comes out Friday.
And can you pull up Cardboard Connection so I can see what the cards look like?
Yeah. So this is going to be big, and I want to talk about this as to why, especially for some of our newer card collectors. So Mosaic Football, this is the first year they've ever done it as a standalone product. They've never done it for football. Basketball has never been a standalone until this year. So Mosaic is new to football. But the most intriguing part about this product is the fact of when it releases. So Mosaic is a popular brand in basketball. It's very similar. It's not comparable in basketball yet to Prism, right? It's not there. Nothing is. But it's also in popularity. It'll be up there with Optic and Select. So Optic, Select, Mosaic, those will kind of be some of the other bigger brands. And then obviously you have Prism. The interesting part here is this is coming out before the season starts. This has never happened, right? Like you're not getting Select football or Contenders football or Optic football or Prism football before the season. That's never happened. You're typically getting your Legacy and your Luminance and your Immaculate Collegiate, and you'll get Elements or Gold Standard or Certified. You'll get other different products, but to have a major product release before the season start is what's so interesting to me here, because it's going to be a big product and you're going to have a lot of demand behind it, and nobody's played it down yet. I have high expectations for this product, but just want to kind of get your guys' vibe and see what you guys think about it.
I saw there the retail only has some interesting little inserts, and one of my takeaways from Mosaic was that like the inserts and the different types as opposed to the regular base guards were really popping off. So I think that obviously we've seen what's going on with retail in the last few months. It's been out of control. You can't get stuff anywhere. I think that's going to add to that even more here. Like the person who pulls the Joe Burrow touchdown masters or whatever I think that might be like a really big card.
Yeah. And similar to basketball, again, I've been working on the Genesis set for basketball. That's a parallel that's exclusive to retail. They're like these.
Do you think these aren't going to be on card autos, right? They're definitely going to be stickers.
I would assume at this point they're not on card. We won't know for sure. But back to the real quick, Genesis, that's a retail exclusive parallel. So for perspective, Luka was selling for like $1,700. Zion's like $3,500. LeBron's $2,000 plus. I think it's like $2,500. Like those are in retail only. $1,000 cards. I haven't seen it yet for sure, but I'm going to assume it's going to be the same type for football. So Joe Burrow, Tom Brady in a Bucs uniform, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, like Tua, those guys in retail, those are going to be $1,000 hits coming out of a retail product. This product is set up for success early, being so early in the season where it's coming out. I have high expectations for this product.
Is this going to be the hottest product in terms of for breakers to come out in a while?
Yeah, there hasn't really been a major football release. Like you had Immaculate Collegiate. Immaculate's only a couple cards. Breakers love that because it's low risk, high reward type potential. You've had Certified, which has inserts, rookies, autos, patches, stuff like that. You've had Elements, which is 4 cards. Again, another breaker friendly product. Cool stuff. But to be on a level with Select, Optic, Prism, Contenders, like it's not quite at some of those levels. It's not Prism football. That will be massive. But it's up there. It's a big release. I mean, it's probably a top 10 release for football all year, and it's before the season. So if you want a Joe Burrow, you're not going to go buy a Donruss rookie per se. I mean, unless that's all you can afford, which is fine. But if you want a Joe Burrow rookie card, you'd likely buy Prism or Optic when they come out. Yeah. But you can buy Mosaic before he comes out. So this will work well to guys that are going to buy like sleepers, like Antonio Gibson for the Redskins, right? They'll release AP. You like Gibson. If he's got a rookie there, you might go buy that instead of searching for his other stuff. And just being able to buy a higher end release or a more coveted release early in the season, I think bodes well for people that are invested into certain players that haven't done much yet.
Yeah, the Tua, like when Tua gets named the starter inevitably at some point this year. Like
what if it's week 3? And there's nothing else out of Tua. There's no Select, there's no Optic, there's no Prism, there's no Contenders, right? You've got preview Optic cards in Donruss, but Mosaic being a standalone brand, it has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Ty, Lou, any other thoughts as we wrap this episode up?
J.K. Dobbins is a problem.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Whoa.
I watched him dominate my football team for a long time. That was it. You said if I have one final, you said, do you have one final thought? I just want to sneak it in there.
Seriously dropping the J.K. Dobbins?
Yeah, we got a reward. Look, if you've been listening,
I got 24 hours to buy
to the chatter. I want to reward you with a quick J.K. Dobbins tip of the cap.
The Redskins led the league in rush yards last year, and people, what are you going to do? Leave Lamar Jackson open? Mark Ingram's getting old. J.K. Dobbins was the first 2,000-yard rusher in Ohio State history. I like J.K. Dobbins a lot. I mean, obviously, I'm a homer, but that's a Penn State guy, right?
Yeah, he dominated
Right
me,
there.
and I respect him, and he's going to be really good.
So we'll get into that next time. I think that'll be interesting next week.
We're going to have a week of football under our belts.
We should have
So great.
MVP, Rookie of the Year, and Super Bowl contenders. We should do that.
And we got to check back in on our basket. We did some good basketball prediction stuff.
Yes, who we thought was going to be in the title.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, I think I said the Bucks, so if that's an L. I'm just gonna.
I
get out ahead
definitely
of
said
that
the Nuggets are going to give the Clippers a decent series. You guys nailed Tyler Hero. You guys
That's
have been
true.
on Tyler Hero. But Michael Porter Jr. did put up 18 and 10 last night in a big,
Michael
in a
Porter,
game.
I'm tired.
Was he the one who got middle finger blocked too?
No, that was Jamal Murray.
That
was wild.
Michael Porter Jr. had played well last night.
He did play well.
Dunked
Yeah, he did.
all over Montrezl Harrell.
He played
That's
very
what he
well
did.
last night.
There was
Yeah.
some kind of dunk in him. I
But
forgot.
No, he
Michael-
finished this.
Michael Porter Jr. is young. Let's talk about LeBron against the Rockets in game 1, where he ruined Russell Westbrook on a dunk and then a chase down block and then an one. I mean, just
And then I think he
year
had one
17.
point in the fourth quarter. Yeah, he's a monster. I'm excited to watch that tonight.
So
Cool. This has
All
been
right.
fun.
that's it, guys.
Later, guys.
Peace.
Peace.